Right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Aero League Racing Gt7 Championships. So this is Tier 6, Week 2 at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Or the 24-hour layout, I should say, actually. If you're not in the Tier 6 Discord, you won't know that I just commentated an entire lap and realised that OBS didn't actually go live. So, we're going to try that again. I'm gonna try and commentate the awesome racing that I've already seen. I've already seen a lap of for Tier 6's race at the Nordschleife last week, and hopefully people will actually see it this time. Because oh my god, that is up there with top 10 stupidest moments I've ever done. Anyway, I'm gonna give it a minute. I'm gonna let some people come in. Hopefully people have been waiting around, or hopefully people know when the stream's happening. Hopefully people will come in. I see concurrent viewers. I wasn't seeing concurrent viewers before. I thought I'd done something terribly wrong, and I did, so. But I got concurrent viewers now. Let's go. Oh my god. Anyway, welcome, the Nordschleife. Arguably one of the most iconic tracks in the world, right? 25.3 kilometers, or 15.7 miles if you don't do European. Often called the Green Hell. I mean, what do you expect? It's narrow, it's tough, it's a great track though, have to say. One of my favourites in the game. 300 meters of elevation change. One of the big hill sections up at the top of the track. Been around for almost 100 years as well, which I found out in my Wikipedia searching earlier. Anyway, we're here for round 2 of the GT7 Group GT3 Championships. Let's first of all look at how the qualifying order shaped up. Of course, I wasn't there, I'm just seeing screenshots. These are the times for everyone in the qualifying in Tier 6. We have, of course, Mr. Ollie Efrig, P1 with an 8 minute 25.744. Great time, I have to say. Krilly, P2, making up the front row. 4.9 behind. Mr. Dr. Hobo, also known as Gum, in P3 with the Lexus. Not Fudo, P4 with the Audi R8 LMS. Ellis, P5 with the Porsche. Inorganic, P6 with the Citroen GT. Giles Dotter, P7. The Birds, P8 with the second Lexus RC. John Oradea, P9 with the Porsche. And P10, Mikey Sands with the Alfa Romeo 4C. Dirty 63 making up P12. Autismus, Dirty 63 making up P11. Autismus, P12. And then Lord Hans, JP, Krakovelli, and I2 Point, or HK as they are in this race, because for some reason they had Indian as their flag last week and German as their flag this week. I don't know, I'm confused. Not setting a time for one reason or another. Unfortunate for them, but they will be starting at the back of the grid. Hopefully they can make up some good places, profit off some other people's mistakes. You never know what's going to happen, especially around the Nürburgring. I'm looking at the game on my other monitor. We're seeing a little bit of rain. So, this could go very wrong very quickly. As you know, the sprint, we have a grid start. So grid start with slippery conditions into a very sharp turn 1 and turn 2. HK lives in Germany, so it says, okay, thank you, Fudo, for clarifying. But, as you can see, still got I2, I just copied from last week, so they've got the same I2 Point Indian flag. Anyway, that clarifies that for me because I was very confused. But anyway, here we are. Let me load up the gameplay for you to see. And the transition did work. Hell yeah. As you can see, a little bit of rain. I need to jump forward, don't I? To Mr. Ollie in the P1 in the golden Subaru. Anyway, how about we get the show on the road, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully you can hear the game this time. I should have fixed my audio. If you can't, I'm sorry. But anyway, 5 lights are out. We are away. Damon getting a little bit of oversteer. Who is that in the Citroen on the inside? Inorganic, making up so many positions. I'm going to have to go for a different angle on this one though, aren't I? Inorganic. Gum Gum tapping Ollie a little bit. Goes a little bit wide. Inorganic in P1. Fudo in P2. Ollie tapping the rear bumper of Fudo and also pushing Damon wide as he tries to manage with going a little bit wide thanks to a bump. Damon P4. Giles Dotter up to P5. Great work from him. Artie Jenner P6. Gum P7 in the purple Lexus. Foreign Pusher P8. The Birds P9. Now P10 as Ellis takes him on the inside of P9. HK also takes him on the inside of P10. Birds drop 2 places in one corner. JP, the reserve for this race, P12. Mike Sands, I will not ignore you this race. I will check in on you. Banana going off. I missed that the first time I casted this race. Lord Hands 14. Banana also. Wait, no, Banana's who I was just talking about. Mike, unfortunately, I won't rewind for you, Mike, but I will point out, I don't know what happened there, but that's an Alpha in P16, very far away from the back. Inorganic, making a great push after his initial start, still holding P1, and has got a decent lead over Fudo. I'm going to go back into the cinematic camera. Fudo P2, Ollie P3. These guys are pulling away from the rest of the pack. Giles up to P4, but he's got a lot of cars chasing him. Damon on the right, Ellis right behind. HK P7, Gum P8. As we come into the final, slightly faster chicane in the GP layout. Giles making that AMG work. I have to say, probably one of the best cars I've driven in ALR recently. Ollie though, let's get back on board with the golden Subaru as we start the Nordschleife section of the track. Chasing down Fudo, wanting that P1 back that he lost in the first couple turns. Putting the screws to Fudo, using all of the track. Inorganic though, just driving away. That's Citroen, must be powerful. Got sandwich T1, that's what happened, fair enough. So it looks like not everyone made it out unscathed, unfortunately. Ollie really on the bumper of Fudo, putting the pressure to him. Let's drop back a little bit though. Giles using all the track as well. Ellis using all the track, making sure they're leaving no pace out of this race. Ollie's made it up on Fudo into the Flugplatz section. Now he's in P2. Now he's got Inorganic in his sights as well. That's going to be a beautiful section. Thankfully, nobody doing a Yad Mardenborough yet. Although I don't think we've got a GTR in this race, so I think we're good. Inorganic, Ollie and Fudo, the top 3 runners of this race, making so much space. Inorganic, of course, starting P6, so he's made a great run already. Ollie, unfortunately, dropping position. But Fudo making up another position. Lots of positions gained and lost already. We're not even. We're only 3 minutes into the race. Giles, of course, starting P7. He's now P4, and he has got plenty of clean air to work with. On this lead demon, indeed. Looks like it. I want to look at the tyres quickly, because Fudo's on the intermediates. Of course, we did see the rain. We do see it in the bottom left. Not quite enough, I think, for the intermediates. It's a slick tyre, but careful driving. So we'll see how the wet tyres, the intermediate tyres work out for these guys. Ellis P5 also in the softs. Using a little bit of the curb. Damon in P6 on the mediums, interesting. HK on the softs, the other Audi chasing down. Putting pressure on Damon. Looks on the outside, does not make the move. Touch it, takes a little bit of grass. Damon were arguing if he was human, he got P14 in Austria. Spoiler alert! Foreign Pusher's gone off. Where is that? That is a tough section, to be fair. If you don't get your pace right, you can be off. Lost it. Looks like a few positions. Yeah, Mike. What? Oh, that's another wall. That is damage on his front left axle and a bumper. I'm looking at the chat and someone hits the wall. Stop distracting me, guys. It's too much. It's too much to do. Mike made up a place on the Birds. Catching a little bit of curve there. This is not a track where you want to be using the curve. That is the wall. Mikey Sands has caught the wall. Bird pushed him a little bit, I think, as he was already spinning. That's unfortunate for him. He's caught a lot of damage there. He's back down to P16. That's unfortunate for him. Ollie's made it up to P1. Inorganic has been defeated again. Back down to P2. Ollie has reclaimed his spot at the front of the grid as we enter the big hill push section. I'm going to go on board with him for a minute, because I love this section. As difficult as it was in the M6, that car is a bloody boat. You'll see. Oh, bloody hell, the Subaru's getting up in second gear. Fair enough. I want to jump back a little bit. Wait, Inorganic's also in gear 6. Why can cars get into the 6th gear? Look, there you go. Giles stuck in 5th gear, not able to use the whole gearbox up this hill. Fudo in a little brake zone. I'm going to assume he was right alongside Giles. He's also in the intermediate, so he's going to lose traction here as Ellis also gets past him. Maybe a little bit of a bump. Ellis really did broke a little bit more than he needed to there. Fudo unfortunately losing a place, potentially to, I can't remember where Giles was, but Giles is now up into third as we come up to the carousel section, possibly one of the most iconic corners on the entire track, even if it is one of the most annoying I find anyway. Fudo taking it a little bit all over the place there. First he was only right wheels on, then he was quite high on it. Let's jump back a little bit more, see if we can catch anyone else on it. Cracker Belly taking a decent line, it looks like. JP chasing down. Ford versus Ferrari once again. By the way, on topic of Ford versus Ferrari, actually no, that's not even on topic of Ford versus Ferrari. No, I'll come back to it another time. Ford hands in the other Ferrari. I was going to talk about the Porsche GT3. That does nothing to do with Ford versus Ferrari. We'll come back to it. Banana in P13. I need to try and remember who he actually is on my. I think that is. It's not Autismus, is it? Might be. Let's jump forward a bit back. Let's go back to the Ford versus Ferrari battle, shall we? So Crackavelli on the intermediates, JP on the softs. Crackavelli having a little snap of oversteer here. Looks like he's all over the place. Oh! That is contact! Looks like JP just went to the back of Crackavelli. Crackavelli was already struggling with traction. He has now damage on his front right and the front bumper. And struggling to get back on the track. He's now in the other wall. So where was he? He was like 9th or 10th. He's going to rejoin in P14. That is really unfortunate for the American driver. Mike has now caught back up to him. Foreign pusher down in 16th now. Ollie's built a massive gap. That Subaru really going to work here. Oh wait, he's on the last couple corners already. He's making great time. Inorganic in the Citroen. Chasing, but not quite close enough to get any sort of drag down there. Long straight. Ellis also similar story. Fudo also similar story. He's on the inters. His tyre wear looks like it's struggling though. But Gum, he's in chase on the soft. He could potentially get Fudo there. HK in P6. Damon P7. Looks like everyone's kind of spread out now. We have JP chasing Giles. Not quite close enough, sorry, for JP to get a good drag down the back straight. Two very powerful cars there. Lord Hans in the Ferrari, Arsene Jenner in the Porsche. The Birds chasing him in Lexus number 2. Mike Jansen, Mr. Mikey Sands in the Alfa Romeo. He's asking me not to look at him, but I will look at him as he comes. Oh, that turbo flutter was beautiful. Oh my. As he comes down the long straight. Crackavelli, Banana, and Foreign Pusher. The last one to get onto the back straight. Ollie starting his second lap at 8 minute 35.9 first lap. Inorganic in the background there. Chasing him down. Not quite close enough. Ellis, similar sort of gap. Gum, similar sort of gap. Fudo's still chasing. Oh no, wait. Gum would have got past Fudo. Fudo's still on the intermediate tyre, so Gum has got past now. He's got P4 in that Lexus. Big gap until we get to HK, but Damon chasing him down. Damon on the mediums, however, so will be slower on the tyres, but potentially with the less wear, quicker towards the latter part of the lap. But it doesn't matter. He gets the inside off HK, and he is fully ahead now. If he can keep hold of it on the GP circuit, that would be very handy for him coming round the Nordschleife. As long as he can keep his lap fairly incident-free, he'll be finishing in the top 6, pretty good. Although, I think he should probably turn his hazards off at some point. Giles P8. Beautiful sounding AMG. Sounds lovely. JP chasing down in the Ford. Similar sort of distance they were when we checked in with them before. Oh, I'm appreciating some good deliveries right now. JP's closing the gap on him though. I did get some talk from JP a bit before this race, saying he picked the Mustang because he liked how it looked. I have to agree with you, it does look very lovely, but it is a tyre muncher. I mean, looking at one lap on 2 times tyre wear, it is clear to see the softs do struggle under the weight of the American horns. Bird's P10. Looks like he's got a lot of ground to make up on the 2 cars ahead of him, but if he does finish P10, that will be a P1 start for the feature race for him either way. Jenna chasing down. Mikey Sands chasing him down. A bit more of a gap to it before we get to Banana. Lord Hands in the Ferrari. I believe it was it. No, it's Crackbelly who had the incident before, wasn't it? He's swapped onto the softs. I think both swapped on. I believe they both swapped onto the softs. So that is why they're so far down. Unfortunately, Crackbelly getting a pit lane penalty, I'm going to assume that is. So his race is all but done, and then 4N Pusher are way behind, unfortunately for him. Dirty 63 I really need to change everything. Ollie coming out of the flip plus section. Clear from everyone else on track. You can look in behind him, he's no one to be seen. In organics, like, he put the screws to him in the first couple of turns, but now he just cannot chase Ollie. Ollie's having a Sunday drive out there now. May as well be on the tourist layout for him. Ellis also chasing an organic, but these 3 drivers, I feel like they've found their pace and they are not going to interrupt each other for the rest of it. They just need to look after themselves now, make sure they don't make any mistakes, and that will be your podium finishers. Dom now in P4. Also got a big gap ahead of him to Ellis. Through this very fast downhill section as we come back up the hill towards a pretty strong and unassuming braking zone. The part I struggle with the most on the lap into the big chicane. Tall curbs either side, you do not want to mess that up. HK just in the background has the potential to catch up to Gun, maybe take that P4 back. We'll see. Fudo and Charles. And is that Damon as well? Really battle. If Charles has got past Damon at some point earlier in the lap then. Fudo maybe made a mistake. Maybe Charles was just too good. Charles has got past Fudo. Beautiful work from him. It looks like Fudo is actually struggling. Maybe he's still on the intermediate, so that explains it. Fudo is struggling. He's lost two positions in like 4 turns. Going a little bit wide on the exit. JP putting the screws to him now on his rear bumper. JP also on the racing softs, so he will have the tyre advantage over Fudo on the dry track now, completely dry. That rain. I remember last time I did Nürburgring before this season, it did the same thing to me, and I hated it. Rain at the start, but no end to be seen for the rest of the lap. JP just making a position on Fudo there. He's now up into 8th, Fudo 9th. The Bird's in 10th, completely on his own. Mikey Sands in 11th. He's got a car chasing him, but not quite close enough yet to put any pressure on him. If he keeps his lap clean, he'll be fine. Ayrton Jenner. Vice versa, he's chasing Mike, and he can kind of see him. He needs to put his foot down. Hands, P13, bit of open air. Banana, P14, also a bit of open air, but he has a target in front of him. Crackbelly still with that 3-7 penalty, yet to be served there in the lap. And 4M Pusher, nowhere to be seen. If you look at the map now, you can actually see how far spread out the field is. Evening Elka, welcome to the stream. Inorganic, Ollie now coming up to the carousel section. You can see, look at that, clear road ahead for Inorganic, even though he's in 2nd place. Making his way around the carousel. Riding it quite high, dipping low to the towards the exit. Ellis taking a sort of similar line. I can't tell you what a good line on the carousel is, I'm terrible at it, so they're alive at least, that's something. HK looks like he's got a little bit, was it HK that Charles and JP were chasing, I believe? No. It was Fudo, the other Audi. The Giles, JP and Damon managed to get past. Damon was beat by Giles and seemingly also JP shortly after. Now JP is back in the chase for Giles and the AMG. But there is a bit of a gap forming, and that Mustang from what I've heard is not kind to the tyres. As he goes wide, he's in the wall on the grass. Saves it though. He's not taking too much damage. He's got a front right issue on his wheels in the front bumper. That will repair itself. Just has to drive a little bit carefully as we come now into the YouTube corner. YouTube area or whatever the hell it's called. I don't remember. Damon in chase. He will have a little bit of an advantage now with better tyres, no mechanical damage. But JP seems to he's a veteran of ALR, been racing for a long time, so he should have the experience over Damon. The car has repaired itself now, so as long as he keeps his lap clean, he reverses those tyres to the end, he should manage to retain P7. But yeah, Damon P8, Fudo P9. Everyone's just in open air now. There's I'm trying to find a battle to watch now. Oh wait, hang on, hold the phone. What happened there? Who was I just spectating? Birds. Was it Jack? Was it Mikey? No, Mikey, that is so not right. Was it Jenna? I saw something. Oh no, here it is. Here it is. What happened here? Mr. Banana on his soft tyres. Going wide, it seems, into the grass, turning that AMG into a lawnmower. Cutting so much grass. Rejoins just behind Lord Hans, who gets a free position from his mistake. And are still taking plenty of grass. I feel like he needs to trade his lawnmower. He's got a new one. Him and Lord Hans both go wide in that turn. Crackbell is still with the 3-second penalty, so he can potentially put the screws to Banana now, but it will not matter. By the time he serves that, forward push is still P16. Let's go back onto Ollie though as he comes through the final couple turns of the Nordschleife. What an incredible lap he has put in, what an incredible race he has put in for the 205 Subaru WRX as he comes back onto the GP circuit, finishing his lap with an 8:27.03. That is the fastest lap of the race. Congratulations to Ollie, you have won. An inorganic coming up for the P2 finish. A great start he had. Unfortunately, he lost it out to Ollie, who was just flawless throughout this race. Ellis, P3 crossing the line in the Porsche. Gum coming back onto the GP circuit, apologies, in the purple Lexus. Taking that P4. HK now in the final couple turns. Back onto the GP circuit in that beautiful monster Audi. Taking P5. Giles in the AMG. P6, not far behind him. JP and Damon, we're still racing all the way to the line, but as I said, JP managed to nurse those tyres, taking P7, Damon P8, Fudo in the second monster Audi, love that car, beautiful, P9. The Birds in the second, Lexus, the green one, taking P10. Mikey Sands and Jenna racing to the line as they close out the English, as they close out the Nordschleife. Mike just getting the better of Jenna on the brakes as we enter back into the GP circuit. The Alfa Romeo driver taking P11 and Jenna taking P12 in the Porsche. Hans! I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to figure out what the hell happened there. As he comes back up in the braking zone. Takes a bit of curb on the right, takes a bit of curb on the left. Too much curb! Oversteers the car. That is really unfortunate for him, man. Looks like he might. Does he have enough time to get it back straight and get across the line, keep his 13? Zay's Banana just behind him. He does keep 13. Banana in P14, really putting his foot down to get to the line. Crackbelly P15 after 7, that 3-second penalty in the second Ferrari 296. Going crazy on the line. And 4N Pusher make it up the end of the race. That is the sprint race. E-Frig, Ollie, with a beautiful, beautiful race. Very well run from him. All from P1 to still P1. He also claims the fastest lap point and the sprint race victory. An organic P2. Ellis, P3, making up your podium finishers. An 11-second lead E-Frig had. Or Ollie had. I need to change the names on this. Anyway, great race from them, guys. I'll leave the totals on the screen while I find the feature race. There we go. Lovely. Yeah, there we go. I2 point, also known as HK. P5, Dr. Hobo P4, Giles P6, JP Greenwood P7. Of course, JP is a reserve this season, but has been around for a long time. He told me he's done 213 race starts. That is a lot. That's incredible. I didn't bother doing the maths, but it's a lot of seasons. I mean, he did actually say racing since season 4. A lot of races. P7, he finished. Crilly P8, Fudo P9. The Birds making up the top 10. So take those top 10, reverse them. That'll be your grid for the feature race. Of course, a rolling start this time. It's looking like clean weather. Beautiful. Let's jump back on board. Let's go. Hang on, I need to do all this in the background first before we go. All right. So, Bird P1, Fudo P2, Crilly P3, JP Greenwood P4, Giles P5. You get the idea. That is the starting grid for the feature race. 5 laps of the Nürburgring 24-hour layout. Let's get it started, shall we? Of course the game audio is static. Oh, I don't know why my bloody capture card is being so annoying. Apologies. Well, it's another audio issue for me to try and fix before next week. Anyway, the feature race, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that, all 16 cars coming down the GP track, start finish straight as we go racing for the final time this evening. Thank you for the graphics, thank you for the compliments. Birds leading the field down into P1, into turn 1, sorry. He is in P1 though. Fight all of the drivers. Let's have a look back, shall we? Birds just having a little snap of oversteer out of turn 2. Looks like a lot of position changes, but doesn't look like any incidents. Fudo and JP capitalizing on Bird's mistake. He picks up a half-second penalty as well, so he's down to P3 after 2 turns. That's really unfortunate for him. Damon in P4. Unfortunately, it looks like he lost a position to JP as well on the first couple of turns. Gun in P5, HK P6, Ellis P7, Giles P8. Potentially making a move on Ellis on the outside here, down in the Dunlop turn. That is a brilliant late braking maneuver from him. Hopefully he can stick it on the outside. Uses the curb, keeps it out of the gravel. Ellis still keeps his position. That is an almost beautiful move from him. He has the inside onto his Schumacher S. Does take position again, and he's ahead. That is P7 for Giles. Great work from him in the AMG. Ellis down as P8 now. Inorganic P9. Making a move on Jenna, who's now in P10. Mike Sands in P11. Ollie's dropped down a couple positions in the gold Subaru, down to P12. Lord Hands P13 in that beautiful Ferrari 296 GT3. Yes, Fudo, at least you can hear engines. At least you don't have to have me making the noises. Crackvelli P14. Banana P15. Or I push and bringing up the rear in P16. JP off in the lead in the beautiful looking dark green Ford Mustang as he enters. Fudo having a snap of oversteer on the entry of the Nordschleife. The 811 number Audi. Still leading though on Demon. Gum? What's happened to Gum? Let's go back a little bit. Let's go here. So, okay, a lot of incidents. Hang on. Alright, so Fudo has a snap of oversteer. Bird already has his penalty from earlier. Damon picks up a penalty there. Bird gets tapped by his teammate. And then again by HK. That is the worst thing that can happen to him. Tapped by a teammate. Giles then bumps the other Lexus. What? So much has just happened. Okay, so we saw Gum go into Bird. And then HK also go into Bird. That is Bird spun out. Gum then gets tapped by Giles. He's going slow. I assume he's being nice. And then Gum goes off into the grass. Ellis is there. Mike gets through. Ollie gets through up into P9. Arthur Jenner. Lord Hands. Banana. Gum just decides to stay on the grass. I assume he's waiting for his teammate. I feel like, fair, it's good sportsmanship. But at that point, I'd just say firm penalty. But it is your teammate. That has put both Lexuses into the bottom two. That is unfortunate for them. JP, oh, beautiful AMG sounds, I have to say. Off into Flugplatz. Hopefully no Jan Mardenborough situations through here. All wheels on the ground, that's beautiful. Fudo chasing. Damon with a half-second penalty, but still in P3, chasing down the top two drivers in the Alfa Romeo. HK in P4. And the Audi has got plenty of open road ahead of him. Ellis right on his bumper though. Maybe wanting to make a move on the inside. The Porsche does have a slightly lower top speed than a lot of the rest of the GT3s around it, so he does back off, unfortunately. HK goes wide in the entry. That'll give him dirty tyres. He's gone wide on the exit as well. That is unfortunate for him. He's managed to keep out of the wall though. If he can rejoin safely, let's jump on board with him, shall we? Hang on, wait, where is he? He's still off the track. Never mind, he has lost far too many positions. He just cannot rejoin safely, it looks like. Birds is coming back into it. Looks like for the most part though, everyone made it through. Ollie with 3 cars ahead of him. The winner of the last race is going to obviously try to make... He knows he's the fastest. He's going to make up his English. He's going to use his car as best as possible to make up the positions. He edges Giles a little bit on the outside, but backs off. Gets a clean run through the chicane. Gets a couple of wheels on the grass. He's in a Subaru which has some rally heritage, but unfortunately this car is more built for the road. So please keep it on it. Chasing Giles, backs off a little bit, gone off onto the grass again. Giles, Inorganic, and Mike Sands having a nice little run. Inorganic getting bumped from Giles in the rear, maybe braking a bit too early for Giles. Maybe Giles is getting a bit frustrated now. He's goes for a pass, going on the right side of the Citroen. Doesn't make it sick. He backs out. Ollie's still chasing all the cars. Wow, this is a beautiful train we're seeing right now. Mike taking a nice little line through this slower area. Got plenty of open air it seems. Ellis, Damon, Fudo, JP staying in relative good distance to each other. Ellis having snaps of oversteer though, unfortunately, as we start now the hill climb section. Damon's still got a half-second penalty. He will serve that towards the end of the lap. JP leading the way by a long way, but as he said to me earlier, this car hits the tyres like really badly. He's on the mediums, 5 times tyre wear, remember, for the feature race. Those mediums are not going to last more than 2, I don't think. Or he's going to have to nurse them around the rest of the lap. Make use of the long straights coming up. Jansen got plenty of clean air ahead of him to try and catch the top 4. Ollie behind Mike Sands. He has got past a few drivers. Giles is back down to P8. Hans is still ahead of... No, wait, no. Hang on. I'm losing myself. I'm not going to go back. If I keep going back, we're never going to get through this race. But a lot has happened, it seems. Oh, Inorganic. Yeah, something must have happened to Inorganic because he is all the way back in 15th now. But still with that half-second penalty. Yellow flag. What's happened? Looks like HK had a incident. Oh, Giles has bumped someone. Oh my god, this is actually crazy. Bird's up into the 11th. Giles has dropped down to 12th, unfortunately. I'm going to assume that yellow flag was because of him. HK top 10. Jenna going around the carousel now with a few other drivers, primarily up to P8. Making that Ferrari finally work with his teammate in P7. Beautiful teamwork from these guys. Ollie and Mike Sands. Yellow flag ahead. Ellis has spun it. I am going to go back. I'm going to see what happened to Ellis. He was twitching all over the place before. Gone into this left. Caught too much curb. And he's just not going to appear over the horizon, is he? Looks like he managed to keep it out of the wall, though. So no damage for him, but we have Ollie and Mike Sands making an easy pass on him now. That's 2 positions lost, unfortunately, to that. Catching the curve a little bit too hard. Ollie from P10 dropped down to P12 in the first couple of turns of the lap, but is all the way up into P4, and we're not even 1 lap down. This is great work from the Golden Subaru and Ollie. Amazing driving from him. He's already won the sprint race. He's already got a fastest lap point, but he wants more. He wants more points. He wants to be the leading driver of Tier 6. Damon P3 will be serving that penalty soon as we come on to the last couple of sectors of the Nordschleife part of the track. chasing down Fudo and P2. Fudo on the hards, Damon on the mediums. And it looks like both cars relatively have the same sort of wear, so either the Audi's really bad, the Alpha's really good, or Fudo's just really harsh on the tyres. Whatever combination of those it is, Damon will have the tyre advantage in his last few turns. Of course, letting the tyres go down a big long straight. JP unfortunately suffering with the tyre wear of the Ford Mustang. He's losing a little bit of traction in his medium tyres now. Fudo is managing to chase it back up. Should be able to get a little bit of slipstream. So should Damon, really. These three drivers, as they come onto the start finish straight. Damon, unfortunately, though, is going to be 75-second penalty, so he will drop out of it. Fudo, is that Fudo making a move? Damon serves his penalty. Fudo making a move, takes P1 from JP. As we come up racing to Bilstein Bridge, JP gets right behind him, getting more slipstream, hopefully making an attack back in the last couple of turns before we get onto lap 2. JP now going wide, getting out of the slipstream. Is this going to be another pass? It's another pass, but he's on the outside, so he's going to lose it immediately. JP, Fudo, side by side. JP backing off early. That's the smart thing to do. Live to fight another day. Fudo and JP completing lap 1 as P1 and 2. JP losing it a little bit in the last corner, but they're alive. Damon and P3 now clear of penalties. Ollie is in the chase though. He's not far behind at all. Mike also chasing. He's also not far behind. Mike, I'm going to watch you a bit more now because you're not down at the bottom. You're up. You're up in the top 5. That's points. That's good points there. Cracavelli, Lord Hands, the two Ferrari 296 teammates, taking 6-7 positions. I'm sorry. Jenna making a push with Lord Hands. Potentially could get him on the brakes here as we go into turn 1. Let's watch it. Let's stick on board following Jenna. Almost makes a move there. I think he realised, or he just broke a little bit too early, but he did not. I think that was too far away to make any hero moves. HK's keeping up with them in the Audi, even though he's on the hards as well, by the way. Giles keeping up P10, keeping the Porsche behind him. Going past his grandstand in the Mercedes. Ellis not far behind. Bird not far behind. Gum not far behind. The two Alexis have gone from 15, 16 to 12 and 13. Good work from them. Inorganic. Unfortunately, P2 in the last race, P15 now. Not gonna, can't be bothered. Can't be bothered. Look, going back and seeing what happened to him halfway through last lap. But unfortunately, he has lost a lot of position, so his rear tyres looking a little bit cooked for him. Giles, something's happened to Giles. Hang on. I like watching Giles race, so we're gonna go back. This is favouritism at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. Sid Giles dropped a few positions, so I do want to see what happened to him. Gets an early apex, unfortunately just not enough braking, all four wheels into the gravel, so he's going to lose so much speed. A little bit of an unsafe rejoin, but didn't take anyone out. He's dropped 5 positions just by going a little bit wide. That's really unfortunate of him. He was making a great push as well. Foreign pusher, Gun, Bird, Ellis in the top 10 now. HKP9. That's never not going to confuse me. Two Ferraris sandwiching a Porsche. Two very well matched teammates, I have to say. They're keeping this close to each other. 6 and 8 now. I can't make my joke anymore. Jenna still splitting the 2 and 7 as we make the final turn onto the Nordic line of Green Hell. Mike in P5. This is great racing from him. A night and day contrast from how he took the sprint race. The man who really wanted me not to watch him in the sprint. He's up in P5. Taking a lot of grass on that curve. Trying the initial, the Takumi Fujiwara gutter run technique or whatever. I'm going to watch Initial D again at some point. Bloody hell. He's still up in 5th though. Oh, hang on. Last bit of moment. He did catch a little bit of curve. Seems to be a common theme among the Tier 6 drivers is just catching a little bit too much curve. Of course, in a lot of tracks where it is flat, you can do that, but with the Nürburgring, look at how high those curves sit off the ground. You do not want to catch those wrong. Ollie making a good push in that beautiful gold Subaru 205 car. I have to say, this livery is very much one of my favourites. The way it shines in the sun, beautiful. Damon still keeping up to JP and Fudo in Alfa Romeo, first Alfa Romeo. JP now suffering a lot from his tyre wear. Look at those tyres. The front right medium is on 50% already, and we're not even halfway through lap 2. He was not lying when he said the Mustang rips through the tyres. I'm glad you guys can hear it this time. HK let me overtake on Gemma going up the hills this lap. I'll keep an eye on it. I'll keep an eye on you, man. Fudo taking a little bit of grass on the exit of that corner. We're still keeping it fine, keeping it good. As we go on a little downhill section now. Fudo, JP, Damon leading the top 3 for the podium. Of course, we are a long way from finishing this race. I will not complain if we have a British top 3. Ollie, though, doing everything he can to make sure that that Swiss flag is seen on the podium. P4. Mike leading a train, it seems. Wow, that is a lot of cars together. Mike, Krakovelli, Ayrton Jenner, Lord Hans, HK, and Ellis. 6 cars within a couple seconds of each other. And it looks like on the map, another little train. Looks like Bird made a little mistake there, so it looks like he dropped a bit of time. Got his teammate and Inorganic both chasing him. Charles, unfortunately, suffering from that loss of pace on the GP circuit. Has managed to get it past Pusher, who is still stuck in P14. Pusher, unfortunately, still struggling in P15, and Banana bringing up the rear in P16. Fudo, JP, Damon, Ollie. You can see a car in front of him on the track map now. He is getting closer. He's edging closer to him. Mike still in P5, Krakovelli P6. Right, we're coming up to the uphill section, so let's keep an eye on Lord Hans. He takes a little bit of grass there. I have to say that 296 is beautiful. Car goes a little bit wider than Jenna. Now, on the outside of this left-hand turn coming up, all the uphill section. HK getting a front row seat to this though. I can see why he said he would have liked it. Another left-hander, which Hans is not in the right position for, but now we go into the right-handers. Hans makes an overtake. Jenna still alongside though, and now Hans is fully ahead. Hans takes 7th. Jenna has dropped a lot of time there. Jenna's gone wide. Jenna's gone off the track. HK's taken P8. His teammate Ellis has taken P9. Jenna has gone from 7th to 10th in only a couple of times. That's really unfortunate for him. His teammate in the Porsche P9 takes it from HK. Actually, I'm going to go back a second because I feel like that was a good thing there. HK unfortunately going wide, clipping the grass, and Ellis just taking a nice easy position there. That's what we missed. Hans still in P7. Krakovelli, it's another Ferrari 6-7 currently, guys. Hell yeah. Krakovelli though putting the screws to the Alfa Romeo. Try and get himself into the top 5. Only a couple tenths of a second to separate these two cars. Let's jump forward a little bit now. Ollie, let's see how he's doing in the chase. Similar sort of gap to Damon and JP. Fudo once again though leading the charge. JP somehow managing to keep hold of P2. I'm going to jump forward actually, see how close these guys are. JP's tyres are shot. Oh my. See him struggling to get it around these turns to get through YouTube corner and into my personal favourite sector on the North line. A little bit of shaking as he's coming around these turns. Damon still trying to chase though with the Damon on the mediums, but so much better looking tyres. He doesn't really need to do much though. As long as he keeps himself close, he'll have a good little draft down the back straight. Also with a good little draft, he'll be able to save fuel, spend less time in the pits. Fudo still leading the charge massively in that Audi R8, and the Swiss man of Ollie chasing down. He's lurking in the background. The golden Subaru is still shining down there in P4. Mike Sands in P5. Something has happened to the Ferraris. Something has happened to the Ferraris. I want to go find out, but at the same time, I just want to let the race carry on running. Gum in P10, Crackerbilly in P11, Bird in P12, Pusher, P13 now, Jar's back in P14, Hands, looks like something happened out. Yeah, I've got to go back. I need to figure out what happened here. So, who's in 6th? Leading Ellis in 7th, his teammate Crackerbilly in 8th. Goes wide here. Cool, goes all the way across the track. That's straight into a wall. That is unfortunate for him. And he's waiting it out. He's trying to rejoin safely. Good on him for doing it right, but that is really unfortunate for him going wide. It seems like this area has caught a lot of drivers out just by going wide. He's hit again, trying to rejoin. Jars making up another position as Hands finishes his rejoin. Going back up to Fudo, going a little bit wide there, catching a little bit of the gravel on the outside as he goes into the second carousel. And it's the final couple of turns before the big long straight. Note to self, get water next time before I start broadcasting. Fudo has got so much clear air. He's going to use a little bit more fuel getting himself down this straight, unless he decides to save a little bit. Because he's got no one punching a hole in the air in front of him. Damon making it past JP now. But JP will have a nice little draft for the rest of the lap. Assuming by his tyres, he will be coming in at the end of this lap. Possibly for hards. Try and make it run the whole way. Ollie though, he sees his prey as he comes over the horizon. Chasing down the Alfa, Ford and the Audi in front of him. One in his second win of the evening. Mike, perfectly clean air. He's doing a lot better this race than he was in the sprint race. Good job for him holding P5 so far. Ellis P6 in the Porsche. It's been a lot of position changes. Fudo stayed out. I think he was on the hards, we'll have to see. Considering that his teammate is also on the hards, I'm going to assume that is a common thing that they both did. Inorganic, Jenna's just made a pass on him. This Inorganic goes a little bit wide. There's a bit of hip and shoulder there. But they're also alive. Gum, P10. Alexis have done a good job battling the way up the field in the last couple of laps. Hey, Hands, it happens. Mistakes happen. That is racing. It is a human sport. Crackerbilly on the hard, staying out. So he will go up to P5? P6. P6. Oh, it's... everyone's changing. There we go. Pits. A lot of people in pits. Hands and Milani get to finish their laps. Fudo on the hard, just going for his third lap. Ollie in P2, also on the hards, going for his third lap and running. 8-minute 30.755 is currently the fastest lap on track, set by Ollie on hard tyres. Great work from him, I have to say. He has been nothing short of phenomenal this evening. Already back up into P2. Started from P10, of course, he won the sprint race. Sorry about sprint. For the top 10. Mike up into P3. For a man who really did not want me to show his POV, he's doing a great job. He's making the mediums last 3 laps. Sorry, I just want to point that out. So I'll be interested to see if he does decide to go for the softs for lap 4 and 5, or if he just still plays it safe and goes for the hards, but at least he'll have less laps to run on the slower tyre. So it'll be interesting to see what his strategy is. Ellis still chasing him down though, and even more worn medium, so I'll be interested to see what he does as well. But he does go fastest through the sectors on the track so far. He's got an 8:39 personal best time, so not too far off Ollie's lap time anyway. It is 9 seconds, but it is also the Nordschleife. Jeddah, P5 in the Porsche, in the second Porsche. Lovely livery that. Damon, P6. Crackerbilly, JP following close behind. Crackerbilly currently the leading Porsche. 0-0 number plate from there. I have to say, it's very beautiful. JP sliding all over the place. He's on another set of mediums. JP's going to go for the 2-stopper. Be interested to see if he can make it work. I mean, if he has the raw pace, which I believe he does seem to be showing a lot of the raw pace. But that extra pit stop, that time may end up hindering him, especially if he decides to go to softs for his last stint. Will the Mustang eat the tyres too much? He gets a snap of oversteer, clipping the grass through that turn. Heads down into foot pass. I'm going to follow him for a little bit. Why not? do love looking at the Mustang. So he is our reserve driver for the evening, so why not give him his flowers for a little bit. Heads up the Flick Plus section. No Jan Mardenborough incident so far as he makes the right-handers. Beautiful. And on to big long flat planes. I don't know what this area is called, but I love it either way. Chasing down Cracker Belly. He's potentially got the pace to catch him. He's definitely got the tyres to catch him. Cracker Belly is on very worn hards now. Cracker Belly will of course only be doing the one pit stop. It'll be interesting to see where these two finish up. Hans P9 making up for his prior incident on the lap before. Put him down from P6, I believe it was, all the way down to the P15. Making up some good positions again. I'm going to assume a few of those were due to the pits though, as Gum is on fresh hards, Inorganic is on fresh mediums, Pusher is on fresh mediums, with some damage though. I'm going to assume he went into a wall, or a couple of walls. Giles on P13 on fresh hards, Bird on P14 with a rear issue, which is now fixed. Maybe he just got bomb drafted by someone. HK P15, fresh mediums, Banana, fresh hards on P16, way on the rear. Fudo though leading the pack still, very worn hards. Ollie giving chase. Still got quite a way to go though to catch up for our sprint race winner. In P3 also got a lot of space to catch up to Ollie in front of him, and as is, no, not his teammate, that is Mike behind him. In P4 he's made up another position, I believe. Good work for him. Jenna leading a mini train of Damon, Crackervelli and JP. This is beautiful driving from these lads. JP almost making a move on Crackervelli there. Unfortunately not quite enough room, but here we go. As he goes on the inside, he's got the pace. He takes P7 from Crackervelli. Great move from JP Greenwood right there. He's got plenty of pace. He's made up so much ground in such a small amount of time. Coming onto a right-hander before the hill. Now this is where these cars really need to have a good gearbox. A lot of cars I've found do not actually get up into that 6th gear on this hill. Damon potentially putting the screws to Jenna. Ball strap for these Porsches. Yeah. A three lap on the mediums when they are not looking too good. But you know what? Jenna is holding up the pack behind him, and his teammate Ellis is a couple of cars ahead. I misclicked on the wrong tire when pitting. No! Ah, terrible. Hate it. That's what Gran Turismo pits really annoy me, because you can't, like, if you make a mistake, you can't back out. It's so annoying. But hey ho, what can you do? Jenna's still leading this train. English is my first language, and sometimes I can't speak it, guys. 4 cars still keeping a very good pace with each other. This is a very well matched battle with these 4 cars here. 4 different cars, 4 different drivers. All in the same tier, of course. Otherwise, it wouldn't be here, but you get the point. Doing a great job. Chasing down Mike as well. Not too far ahead of him. Mike also on a 3-lap stint on the mediums. Ellis, again, 3-lap stint on the mediums. Got plenty of space ahead of him, it seems. At least a couple. Good few times. Looks like something happened. Looks like, oh no, JP and Crackervelli just exchanging some more blows. Drop back a little bit from the guys in front of him. Got that downshift from the forward. So that is one thing I'd love to see though. I'd love to see a new Ford Mustang in the game. Since Polyphony are now deciding to add new GT3s, I'd love to see the new Ford Mustang. Because oh my, that is a beautiful car. Also the Toyota GR GT. I think that'll be very beautiful for us to add, but we'll see. Time will tell. Kaz, please, I will start begging. Ellis still retaining this P3. Ollie's still chasing. He's closer to Fudo now. He is potentially within striking distance as he rounds the final turn for the launch, or almost the final turn of the launch line, before the big straight anyway. Of course, we cannot see the split times, but he is close. May pick up a hint of slipstream here. Not quite. I don't believe it'll be enough to catch him on this straight. Maybe it is. He's going 158, 159, 160 miles an hour. Fudo's a little bit faster. Only like half to 1 mile an hour-ish quicker. Yeah, Fudo's still gaining a little bit of ground. Ollie's still got a little bit of work to do. But both come in for a pit stop here. But if, unfortunately, reading the chat, Fudo's saying he clicked the wrong tyre. That's going to be really unfortunate for him. He's led the race so well. We'll see what happens. Ellis got so much clean air on very worn mediums. Hopefully he nurses them back to the pit. He doesn't make any mistakes in the last 2 turns. We know these last 2 turns can claim so many victims, as they did, of course, in the GT World Series finals. Cost Valerio Gallo a few key points in the last, literally in the last 2 turns. This sector can claim drivers, so hopefully he nurses these tyres around really well. Ollie came in with a little bit less fuel than Fudo, so he will have a little bit more fueling time to do. He will lose a bit of time to Fudo that way. And he does overfuel a bit as well. Fudo, though, potentially he did stay on the hards. That is a big mistake from him. Wait, did he? No, he's on softs. Oh, okay, it just took a while to update. I mean, it could be. The Audi, from what I've heard, is not a very good car for the tyres. But if Fudo was able to drive it well, if Fudo was able to nurse the car around, it could have been the right call. We'll see what happens. Because from his message, I'm not liking the look of it, but this looks like it could be Ollie's race to win again. As he's giving chase, and the slightly weaker tyres initially, but again, 2 laps, 5 times tyre wear. We already saw they barely lasted. They barely lasted on 2 times in 2 laps. See what happens. Ollie gives chase, catches a little bit of gravel on the exit of the Dunlop curve there. JP up in 3rd position. I'll just wait till the line. I'm loving the spoilers, guys. Thank you. JP giving chase from 3rd position on this. Oh, this is his second, of course. This is his second lap of mediums. On his second set of mediums. Just picked up a few laps from the guys who did the 3 laps of it. Damon is still chasing P4. Ellis still in P5 as he's now on the softs. So yeah, so he's gone to the softs. Damon, I think he did a 2 laps, and then he's on his 3 laps in the state cars. It'd be so great if I had a chart set show where no, I don't. Organic in P6 looks like his 2nd or 3rd laps, 2nd of 3 laps. Mediums. I'm going to estimate Gum on his 2nd of 3 laps of hards. Jenna on his 1st lap of softs. So both Porsche's doing an interesting strategy of medium soft. Now Porsche is fairly good to the tyres compared to a lot of cars on track currently. But are they that good? I'm not sure. Be interesting to see. Crackavelli in 9th, still in 4th. He's now pitted for his medium tyres. Mike P10, he's also on the softs. So all these soft runners now in these last 2 laps, they're going to have to be really careful. Make sure they last. They're going to burn so quickly. Pusher on his 2nd lap of mediums. Bird on his 2nd lap of hards. Hands on his fresh mediums. Trying to make a move on Giles. He pressures Giles, I'm going to assume that was, and he makes a mistake. Wait, where did Giles go? Hang on. What the hell? Oh, Giles got reset. Ah, okay. Hang on, I'm going to backtrack a second. Because that's really unfortunate for him. So he gets pressured from Hands, or he's pressuring Hands, misses his braking zone entirely, and then just gets reset on the track. And he's all the way back down to 15th. Loses all momentum and everything. That's really unfortunate for him. This game can be really, really brutal. Again, appreciate the gun number. And again, more gun number, which is very cool. Fudo is still in P1, but that looks like a golden Subaru of Ollie chasing him down through the Eiffel Forest. Is it Eiffel? Making their way up now to one of the toughest sectors in my opinion, the chicane. Getting the brake turnaround is key. Also making sure you carry enough speed to not lose out to other people. Ollie's right on the bumper now. Look at this guy. I'm going to jump on board with Ollie. Listen to that Subaru for a second to take it. this out lap. This is on the brand new set of mediums. Chasing down Fudo, who is on the softs, but he is pushing, it seems like. Yeah, those tyres are getting eaten away very quickly. He's only 4 minutes into his lap and they're already a quarter gone. Considering he has to last a lap and a half. Not liking his chances right now as he's losing a little bit of traction through this technical sector. Still on the downhill. Ollie right on his bumper. Hang on, could we see an overtake here? As he bumps Fudo a little bit, gives him a push, he goes to the outside, but Fudo stays alive. Ollie backs off a little bit, goes a little bit wide, looks like a little snap of oversteer, potentially. But he's still putting this through to Fudo, still chasing. We come into the uphill section. Subaru, from what I remember, has a pretty off. Fudo's gone a little bit wide there. Subaru has a good gearbox to the hill. Ollie is through to P1. I clicked the wrong button. The race winner from the sprint race is back in P1. The only Subaru WRX rep in tonight, I believe. Is it? It is. The only one of the Gold Subarus rep in tonight is taking P1 from Fudo. Should be guided with that because he's done an amazing race all race. But of course the soft tyres really are going to struggle here, especially as the wear kicks in. Going a little bit wide up the hill, but he's using all the available track. He has now lost P1 and it looks like his gap is building ahead of him. If I was him now, I would just nerf the tyres. Second place is better than losing out because you spin it on a lap. Taking a little bit of the curve there as we come into the carousel. The 180, 190, 200 degree-ish, whatever it is, turn at almost the very top of the track. He's got a couple more cars chasing him, but they've got a lot of distance to close still. JP and Damon. JP goes very high, misses the carousel entirely. Sure. It worked. Damon did close the gap a little bit, but not enough, considering JP completely took it. Don't know what that line was. I've never seen anyone take it and not go into a wall. But he's still ahead. So you know what? Whatever works. Go for it. He is, of course, on his second lap of his second set of mediums. So he is going to be struggling here now for traction. This Ford just eats the tyre alive. As much as, yeah, he loves the design, so do I. It is not the one when you're competing against some cars which are running 3 laps of the mediums, and he's run 2 sets of 2. Damon chasing him down on the hards now. Second lap of hards, I believe. If that's his first lap of hards, he is doing something to eat them away. Ellis, also another driver, gone to the softs for 2 laps. Making last, it looks a little bit better than Fudo. Not quite, not that much though. He's also going to have to take it quite easy. He's got plenty of open air around him. Be interested to see how he manages to maintain them. Gum, the driver behind him, way behind as he comes into YouTube corner. So it just goes to show how much space Ellis has, so he can start to take it easy a little bit. Purple Lexus making his way around YouTube corner with relative ease on the, was that the hards? It was the hards. Inorganic on the mediums. Looks like a second lap. Be interested to see, I believe he pitted on that too. So be interested to see if he can make these mediums last till the end. Of course, running quite strong at the front of the field for the sprint race, finishing P2. Great to see him finish high on this race as well. Crackerelli catching a little bit of air there in the Ferrari 296, being chased by, I believe that's an Alfa Romeo. It is the Alfa Romeo, like that. His medium tyres. So he comes through one of the fastest sections on the track. Slalom area, love it. Goes quite a bit wide there though. I'm not sure why he wouldn't just run it to the index. Interesting. Mike's still giving chase out, but he's also under pressure from Jenna in P10. The Porsche Alfa Ferrari. Also in the 296 on his first, I want to say first or maybe second lap of mediums. Pushing that car to try and catch up to his teammate who's holding up 2 drivers ahead. I say no holding up, but just together. HK and P12. still got just over a lap to go. JP's in the pits again, so he's still going for a 2-stop. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to work out for him. Johnson 15th, but I'm 16th. I believe, I'm going to say that's autism. I don't know. Ollie P1 still. Push around. Fudo still chasing. Oh my god, that rear left is so cooked. I see what you mean, Fudo. It's really unfortunate that you misclicked that. Could have been the right idea in another car, but he does go fastest so far. But those softs are not going to last much longer, especially if he's really trying to put his pedal down. P3 though, David, quite a few times behind. Fudo does still have the opportunity to look after his tyres. Maybe he still can contain his P2. The soft tyres are looking a little bit better than Fudo's as he also picks up a fastest sector. JP and P5 on the brand new softs. The fact that he's managed to retain P5 is very, very well done from him. Just got to hope that the softs last on 5 times tyre wear. Even though it's just one lap, but they need to last as long as they can. So it does go wide in that sector, in that turn. Hopefully it won't cost him any penalties. Gum giving chase in the purple Lexus. Crackbelly, P7, being chased down by Jenna and P8. Both Porsches in the top half of the grid, that's pretty well done from them. Taking a little bit of grass out, but still doing a very good job. The 2 slow racing team apparently. Hans making up the top 10 now. Recovering pretty well from his earlier incident, I should say, since he's a Ferrari driver. Inorganic, got a lot of ground to make up. That's a pretty mental rear wing. Sorry, I've just noticed that. The position is so well designed. I really want to try that. Share it's right now. HKP12 quite far away from the rest of the group now. Look at the map. Look how far ahead the P1 and 2 are from the rest of the group. There's people still on the GP circuit, and they're coming up to the chicane on the Nordschleife. Sorry, hang on. Let's go. P16 has just started as the last lap. P1 is 3 minutes into the lap. At this rate, with a 3-minute finish time, a couple of drivers may not be finishing. Ollie going fastest. He's been allowed to unleash now. He's back up in P1. His natural habitat for the entire time on the ring. Qualified P1. Sprint race P1 with the fastest lap. Now he's pushing himself as much as he can, pushing those medium tyres as long as they will go in the golden Subaru. It's golden for a reason. Ollie is pushing his absolute limits out there on the Nordschleife. I have to say that Subarus in general in this game just go crazy. Fudo giving chase, but those softs are just gone. It's going to be really difficult for him to try and get it home now. We'll jump back on with him in a minute. Damon still giving chase. Oh, was that a spin? No, it wasn't. It was just the way the track went. Damon still giving chase though. Ellis, not too far behind, but still got a gap ahead. Same thing with JP. Same thing with Gum. Crackavelli has a car behind him, potentially going to start feeling pressure. That Ferrari and that Porsche have been close to each other for a while. Got the Alfa Romeo, Mikey Sands in P9. Lord Hans bringing up the rear in P10. Or bringing up the top 10, sorry, not bringing up the rear. Both Ferraris in the top 10 though, if only this was F1. Inorganic, still P11 in the Citroen. He's got cars on the track map in front of him, he knows that he's not far away from them. But good to see if he can get past them as Hans has just got past Mikey. No, Mikey, that is so... No, Mikey, no! No, that is so not right! That's unfortunate from him, picking up a lot of front end damage as his tyres are really struggling now. He's one of the ones that went through a two lap stint on those softs. Speaking of Fudo, let's catch up with him. Let's jump away through the field. Look, Hans is back up to P9. Jenna's on P8, but his softs are gone. The soft tyres were not the one, lads. I don't know what you lot were thinking. I mean, potentially if you were being very careful, but no. Crackabilly on the mediums, P7. Gun P6 on the hards. I'm assuming this is his third lap on the hards. Because, oh my, that is it's a pretty big wear. He's also done 2,000 miles in that Lexus, Jesus. JP still keeping it pretty strong in the Mustang. Must have had a snap of oversteer somewhere and got off with the right rear damage in the rear wing. Softs are lasting good enough, although he's just over halfway through the lap and his fronts are 50%. He was not kidding when he said the Mustang eats tyres. LSP4 also completely shot soft tyres. Damon still not seeing Fudo on this track map yet. Fudo, his rear tyres are done. They're gone. Finished. I'm trying to think of a quote. There's probably a quote. Oh my, he's turning the Nordschleife into Formula Drift, ladies and gentlemen. He's got the Maserati. Oh my god, sorry. Appreciate this man keeping it on track. He's literally he's doing Formula Drift. What is this? You see Damon in the background now. The lack of traction's really getting to Fudo. He's not managing to keep the pace. We'll see when he crosses the sector line what the damage is. Oh my god, brother is it's Formula Drift. That's all it is. Everything sliding. Damon takes P2 from a shattered Fudo. Coming through one of the fastest sectors, the slalom sector as I like to call it. This is incredible control from the Audi driver. I've seen this car with its rear end out. I'm not going to finish that sentence because it's probably not appropriate for the ALR channel. Oh my god. And he's still going. It's not in a wall. How? Fudo, teach me. This is incredible control from him. The front left is almost gone. The front right soon to follow. This is incredible control from him. Damon, of course, take the position, but let's jump very quickly back to Ollie, who's coming around the last two turns. Back onto the GP circuit as he claims I think that's a complete grand slam from car number 205, the Golden Subaru, as he spins it over the line. He hasn't spun it over the line, he's just spun it before the line. You get the idea. Oh wait, no, is that over the line? I can't. No, it's over the line. I'm being stupid. Race, pole, sprint win, sprint fastest lap, feature win, feature fastest lap, a grand slam from the lad. Congratulations, Ollie. Well done. As Damon also jumps back onto the GP track, taking P2. Fudo, 3 out of 4 of his tyres are gone, and he's still finished on the podium. Can we? Round of applause for Fudo. That is some incredible control from you. Amazing work. Ellis taking P4 again also with shot tyres. JP in P5. He did 1 lap on those softs and look how ruined they are. Crazy work. Gum in the purple Lexus taking P6. That is incredible recovery work from the guy who was all the way down at the bottom of the track. Bottom of the grid order on lap 1. Crackabilly taking P7. In the Ferrari. Good work from him. Hans with a nice recovery drive, making a mistake earlier on in the race, dropping himself all the way down to the bottom of the order, making his way back up to P8. Incredible work from him in the Ferrari. Both Ferraris doing very well this week. P9 in organic. Unfortunately, not his best drive. He had a P2 in the sprint race, so he finished where he started in this race. Still great work from him. Jenna, fronts are gone. Rears are almost gone. Lads, the softs were not the one. I don't know what you guys were thinking, but you know what, Jenna, crossing the line at P10. Good work for him. HK P11. crossing the line. Jansen! Mike, what happened? Mike, what happened? Coming into... He had too much speed with not enough tyres coming into the last couple turns. He's lost P12 to Pusher, and Mike still So 4M Pusher will cross the line in P12. Burrs just profited off Mike's mistake at the end there, taking P13 for the green Lexus. Mike, has he got it back on track? He's got it back on track. Ease the throttle, my friend. Ease the throttle. You've got no tyres. You've got no tyres. P14 secured. With God, the amount of scratches on that Alpha. Lordy, lordy, lord. Charles coming round for the final turn. Also making a little mistake there. But he's survived. He's alive. And that means Banana going a little bit wide there. I'm gonna say the finish time. Hang on. Yeah, he's not gonna have time to finish, unfortunately. So Banana will be P6. He will be P16. Someone just left, I believe. That is unfortunate for him. Which means this is how it shapes. Wait, what? Wait, no, this isn't right. Ellis finished higher. Right, no, I know what happened. I know what happened. I got this from a hand screenshot, and I think Ellis had left before he took the screenshot because he had to wait for so long. Anyway, so Ellis was higher. I'm not going to remember it. But Efrig P1, Crilly P2, Fudo P3. That's an amazing job from Efrig tonight with an absolute, like, a grand slam, really. Corrected standings. Yeah, no, I'll come to the standings in a second. You'll see that in a second. But this is what I got sent. Efrig, 30 seconds ahead. Hats off. Amazing work. Crilly 74, Damon making up a nice P2. Fudo getting it over the line with no tyres and entering Formula Drift. And P3, JP Greenwood P4, Dr. Hobo P5. That is the top 5. You can see that is the standings as I've been sent them. But I'm actually going to go to this one because this should be the correct one. And this actually takes in all the points. I'm going to load it up on my laptop because it looks really bad on an OBS preview window. But that is Ollie in P1 of the championship at Tier 6. 2 second places, 2 wins, 2 fastest laps and a pole position. Leaves him on 77 points. And puts Team WRX as the first team over 100 points. Very well done to them. Very strong race from Ollie. Damon in the Alpha. A win, P4, P8 and P2. Fastest lap and a pole. 60 points. Trailing by 17. But also putting the Alfa Romeo in the respectable P2. This is a great race from these lads. Great season already so far. We're only 2 races in. And we've had some incredible shows of driving from a lot of these drivers. Incredible shows of control as well. So mentioning Fudo. We've got to mention Fudo again. For even getting that Audi across the line at the end of that race. This is incredible driving from these lads in Tier 6. Looking forward to next week where we visit Austria for the Red Bull Ring. But until then, guys, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for joining me for this race at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Until next week, goodbye.